morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever it happens to be when you happen to be watching this. I am Fremont Lee. The views and opinions expressed in this video were those of the person saying it. That's me, Fremont Lee. Hope you're all doing well. I do thank you for watching. I don't know where I was going with that anyway. Staying hydrated, sleeping well. I hope everything's all right with you. I really do. Just had something to eat. My apologies. I had to wash it down. This is January 7th, 2021. Yay! It's been a week. Oh boy. Or it's now becoming a week. Today's birthday is January 7th. Sorry, I'm kind of like that. Erin Gray. I believe she was on the television show Silver Spoons with Rick Schroeder. About the rich guy with who has a toy company. Alfonso Ribeiro was the best friend of Ricky. I don't think the character name was Ricky, but Rick Schroeder. She was also on Battlestar Galactica, the original series. I don't know the original late 70s, early 80s original. I'm not sure if she made an appearance on the new incarnation. Stephen Williams, who was the one officer in the police officer in the Blues Brothers, 1980. I'm gonna get that some bitch. It was more of a Buford T. Justice. He was also in Jason Goes to Hell, 1993. He was the officer in charge of the unit called on a TV show 21 Jump Street with Johnny Depp. Holly Robinson, who is now Holly Robinson Pete, and DeLuise. They both made an appearance in the movie 21 Jump Street. Okay, anyway. Nicolas Cage. That was kind of Keanu Reeves. Kenny Loggins. Everybody cut foot loose. Jeremy Renner. Lauren Cohan. Cohan. I don't know if it's pronounced Cohen or Cohan. She's on The Walking Dead, or was on. David Caruso. Dustin Diamond. Lindsay Fonseca. Linda Kozlowski. Robert Richard. R-I with an apostrophe. It looks like Robert Richard, but with the apostrophe there, so it could be Richard. It could be pronounced Richard. I don't know. Dougie Doug. Sammo Hung, who is Sammo Cambo Hung. He was on a television show called Martial Law with Arsenio Hall, where he ends up trading places with a police officer in like Los Angeles or something. So I don't, like a fish out of water type thing. And he's the heavyset dude. If you've seen a Jackie Chan movie, there's a good chance he was in it at some point. Not all the movies, but sometimes. I know he was a bicycle messenger, I think, in one of the movies. They were in a van. They almost run him over and something. I'm going to butcher his name, and I do apologize for that. Uwe Oxennek. UWE is the first name. Last name OCHSENKNECT. It could be Oxennek. I can't remember what movie he was in. The TV show, The Transporter. The Transporter, the series. I believe that's what it was. I could be wrong on that, but I believe I'm right. Anne Shedeen, Schedeen, two E's, two Deen. She played Kate on the television show Alf, 1986 to 1990. Josh Blake, who played Jake Achmonic on Alf, 1988 to 1989. Hallie Todd, Judith Belushi Paisano. David Yost, who was on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or may have been in the movies of, not necessarily the TV show. I'm not sure. George Buza, Buza. He was in the movie Diary of the Dead, 2007. David Marciano, he was not Ray Vecchio. Was he Ray Vecchio? On Due South, the TV series, 1994 to 1999. There was a two-part episode that aired in 1999. All the rest of the shows or episodes were 1994, possibly 94, 95. Director Robert Longo, who directed Johnny Mnemonic, starring Keanu Reeves, 1995. Max Morrow, who played Benji on the television series Monk. It was for 1 year. It was listed. So this is out of the and Katie Couric. This is out of the top 100 of 1,220. To the late Vincent Gardenia, Alan Napier, who I believe was on the television series Batman, Adam West. He was the butler. For some reason I can't think of his name. I'm coming up with his Wadsworth, and that's not right. That was Tim Curry in the movie Clue. Butterfly McQueen. Writer William Peter Blatty, who wrote The Exorcist, 1973. Writer Diane Thomas, who wrote Romancing the Stone, 1984. And Jewel of the Nile. She passed away in 1985. Writer Charles Addams. If he doesn't sound familiar, he's the one who came up with the Addams Family. Da-da-da-dum. Anyway, writer-director Danny Steinman, who wrote and directed Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, 1985. That again was out of the top 100 of 1,220. How's your day going? You have a birthday coming up? Happy birthday. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. Happy belated birthday. I don't have a movie to talk about right now. I should be typing, so I should cut this short just so I can go type. And like I showed yesterday in a video, that one dated, the one dated January 6th, 2021. I believe I showed how much I had left to type. I haven't done any of that since. I mentioned that the last time was November 30th of the year that shall not be named. I'd love to tell a joke. I'd love to, do something humorous just to. I'm just not right in the. I just don't feel like that it's a right opportunity, and I don't really have anything to joke or say at this point in time. I'd tell you about my night. Started working Working out. I started working in the cooler for the first hour. Um, Load had not shown up yet, so it. I I know. Use your words. Um, I ended up working aisle 14 with Zaire. He's a new employee. Well, a couple of weeks he's been there. 14 is soap, laundry detergent, that type of stuff. After a couple hours or an hour and a half or something like that, we went back to dairy. There were I'm not sure how many skids, but excuse me. I know we took a skid of butter, biscuits, bagels, Jello. There was a skid of butter, um, the stick butter. Uh, so there were boxes of on the bottom layer, and then there was another skid, and then on top, which the wood, the pallet, and then on top of that pallet was a bunch of stuff, Jello, butter, different kind of butter, in little tubs, little tubs, um, cookies, that sort of thing. There were 2 L carts for yogurt. I worked that after we had brought everything out. I didn't just start working that and go, hey, screw you guys. Would have been kind of a dick move on my part, and I already feel bad for having used the restroom a couple of times, but last night was my Monday, so no, last night wasn't my Monday. It felt like my Monday. Felt like my Friday too. Excuse me one moment. Sorry. Yeah, it felt like my Monday and my Friday. So it was kind of like I didn't really want to do anything. But I did. I did. um, there was, I believe, another L cart of butter or something. So there's some. Uh, so there's an L cart, the skid or double stacked skid, pallet, whatever you want to call it. Juice had a skid and 2 L carts of juice. 3, I think. There may have been 2, and he just threw what didn't go onto the third one, and it ended up looking like there were 3. Zaire worked the juice. Mike worked cheese. Rick worked in the cooler. As I said, I worked yogurt after I finished the 2 L carts. I couldn't condense them enough down to just one. Or did I? I think I did. I could be wrong. I'm not. I'm not. I condensed it down to 1 L cart. It just happened this evening. It's I should remember. Running on empty. Uh, sorry, I had other things on my mind. I was trying to think of what to come up with for another story, but I was like, you should really finish the ones you're working on because I'll be, I'll be writing one and be like, oh, that'd be a good idea. Be like, oh, I gotta save that for another one. So I have to write it like this little synopsis down. Like, uh, I know there was something on Facebook where it was a joke, but it's serious. It's like somebody woke up from a dream. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So and they wrote it down. They went to bed, or because they were tired, they went back to sleep. And when they woke up, they're like, oh, "What was that idea? Save the cat." What? Or maybe it was all about the cat, or it was something where it's like that doesn't help. Well, it's funny. I don't know. After I took care of the yogurt Elkhart, I went over to the uh, Jello butter biscuit section. I helped Zaire do uh, the. I was like, okay, what's on this? What's this? Oh, that all goes okay. So I helped him do the biscuits and the Jello. He spotted a bunch of stuff, which was awesome. I just grab it if it goes. I'll work it. Does that take longer? I don't know. You figure I break down the boxes as I go along. So that shamrock, that gray bin, that uh, it's like a vinyl bin for the cardboard. I I can usually fill that once an evening with everything that usually. I didn't last night. I because I had worked in the cooler for that first hour and aisle 14. There were boxes from both of those in the Shamrock. Then after 14, we went to dairy, and I filled a second Shamrock because somebody had taken the one I had. It only had three wheels, so I was like, well, it wasn't even necessarily. It was more like, which is why I tied the bag on the end with the wheel. So I figure plastic in that bag, it shouldn't tip that way. It should kind of like stay even. Um, yeah, I took the L cart of yogurt back to the cooler. Helped with the biscuits, worked that. Um, so yeah, my night was pretty good. Stayed over a little due to the fact that I worked I conditioned up juice, not all of it. I kind of touched it up a little. I condensed the juice carts from the skid, put that onto an L cart, condensed, took some of the stuff off the one L cart, put it onto the L cart the first L cart I had, and the third L cart I put the remainder of whatever was on because there was a little L cart. I put I put the stuff that was on there on the third L cart. Took the first L cart back. Put uh, some juice that there isn't a spot on the shelf for onto the end cap. took the juice into the cooler, came back, grabbed the other one, put that one into the cooler. Didn't notice there was another juice that isn't on the shelf. So I took that, I carried that out, put that onto the end cap. Then I took the empty L cart back, and the one lady that avoids me at all costs, it seems, uh, had turned and was walking the other direction. I was like, okay, put this back, because I had borrowed it from an area of the store that it's in the back room. But I put that back. It's like, okay, it's what's kind of technically where I borrowed it from. Uh, Went back out of the floor, helped Zaire finish the butter biscuits. Jello. Jello was done. Biscuits were done. Then the meat guy, I can't think of his name. Michael, George, one of those. George Michael, whatever. He with the mask, I can't tell. You know, it's like don't know, can't tell. And I didn't really see his name tag, so I was like, okay. But he brought over other boxes of like the add an egg and hash browns. There's like the bags of potatoes. There's hash browns, um, diced potatoes. Excuse me. And then there's like a steakhouse potato and something else. There's like four things that went up, and they add an egg. So I was like, okay, we did that. Put whatever didn't go onto an L cart. Stacked the empty pallet onto the one of that had juice, which was empty now. Lance came over. He was going to take it away. I was like, oh, I was going to put the empty on there. He's like, oh, okay. So I moved that back over. He took off with the other stack that he either he brought over or somebody else brought over. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was stocking a stick butter. I was like, Zaire put one of the boxes up, or two of them. I'm not sure. I was like, ooh, can any of these go on the end cap? So went to the little cooler on the end of the aisle, because there's the aisle or the shelves, and then at the end, there's a cooler on one side. On this end of the aisle, because the aisle for your walk, and then the aisle for your walk, and then there's the shelves. So on the shelves, there's on the end is a cooler section. So it's like we walked down there. I was like, oh yeah, we can get about a case up, maybe more. And he was like, okay. So we went back. He picked up a case. I think I filled up another of that. Started conditioning some of the butter, bringing it forward, making it look nice. And I took the cases and threw that on. I didn't throw. I placed it on the L cart. Sorry. One of the glass jars for the air freshener in aisle 14, Zaire had dropped. It was like a 2-pack of whatever, and I'm not sure if the little plastic that you know how it is. You've got the give me a second. You have like the cardboard, and then there's the product. Then there's the product, and there's like a little plastic covering for it. Then it's been like glued on in the. That may have been loose, because when he was loading it up. He dropped it. Or one of them. I didn't really touch it or pick it up. I was like, I had a hold of. I cut a one of the the store brand Lysol type antiseptic, um, like Lysol type stuff, or like the Clorox spray type thing, but the store brand. Um, I had just put one of those up. I hadn't cut the box yet, or I hadn't flattened it out. So I cut the top portion, leaving so much like a little tray. I was like, oh, here, if there's broken glass, put it in this. He had gone to get some paper towel to clean it up. I was like, oh, be careful, don't. Yeah. And I moved an Elkhart. There was a big chunk of glass. So he was like, oh. I can still smell the scent on my hand, and I've washed my hand like 5 times. Okay, 6 times, whatever. And I can still smell it. It's like, uh, it's not like that thing where it's like, it doesn't matter how nice the soap smells. Do not come walking out of the bathroom sniffing your hands. It just looks. It was a good night. I went into the back to return to put the skids, the stack of pallets, the wooden things. Um, I took those back, put them on the trailer, dropped off the hand jack because I didn't need it anymore, and on my way back out to the floor to finish conditioning, I heard somebody say end cap, working the end cap. Wasn't really listening, but I heard that. And then Mike, who had worked cheese, had called, "Hey, you want to work the?" I was like, "I'm sorry, could you mumble that again?" Because with the mask on, you know, I, I can't hear out of this ear anyway. Um, I have a hearing aid that I do wear sometimes, not always. Um, Rare occasion. Uh, but yeah, he's like, "Oh, do you want to take this out and work it on the end cap?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I was like, it was 6:31 at that time. So I took it out, uh, worked the end cap, moved some of the juice that I put up over so there'd be more room. I was like, okay. Um, put up a couple of cases of about 4 cases of the pumpkin spice, 4 cases of, no, 2 cases of the sugar-free pumpkin spice, 4 cases, 5 cases, possibly 5 cases of the regular pumpkin spice, and the pumpkin. No, maybe it was whatever. I did up a bunch of stuff. I was like, okay, this here, this here, this here, this here. And I condensed some of the other stuff because I moved it over. I was like, okay, so I could put more room up or more items up on the from that L cart that I took out. And I was like, okay, do. Uh, I ended up pulling some stuff that was close dated. Today's being the seventh. Today's being today being the 7th. I pulled the stuff that expires on the 7th, which is today. As I am recording this, it is today. When you're watching this, it may not be the 7th anymore of January 2021. So yeah, that was fun. Not all of the stuff on that Elkhart went. It was one of the long Elkharts, not one of the short Elkharts. It wasn't full. It could have gone on a small Elkhart, but I took that back into the cooler. Went, and it was like, okay, what's up? What's up? Anything? Anything? Oh, they were conditioning, or no, they weren't conditioning. They were emptying their shamrock from the cooler. I was like, "Oh, okay, we're all good. Everything good?" I was like, "Okay." So I went back out, grabbed my shamrock. I saw Zaire. He was still conditioning up some stuff. I was like, I had to empty my shamrock, so I took that back, took the damages to the cooler, set that down by the. One of the things we received, there was a gap in the top of the cardboard, like so much. I don't know if you have ever had yogurt, that like little tinfoil top. That's easy to puncture, particularly if a box gets set on it. Because like the corner of the box, which happens, it does. Sometimes going to pick it up, somebody kind of like grabs a hold of it by that section of the box, and they'll put their thumb into it. It's like yogurt. Well, there was one of those that had like it had been hit by something. It wasn't one on the end, which would have been like the thumb. It was one of the two in the middle, which more like a box kind of hit it. So that was one of the damages. The close dated that expires on the 7th, which was today, which currently is today. I just pulled that from the shelf. I was like, yeah. Then there was like the one that like the plastic was all dented, like it had been there for a while, so it was almost creased in the way that it was. I was like, look, there might be a customer that would buy this, but almost 9 out of 10, you figure out of 10 people, there's a good chance they wouldn't. So you figure out of 100, maybe one. And so, yeah, I just, and I always ask the question, if I were a customer, would I buy this? No. So it goes into damages. And it isn't like spinach flavored yogurt. I wouldn't buy that. Put that in the damage. No, no. If there's a crease in it, if there's something that's wrong with the thing, damage. It's like the tubs, like the tubs of yogurt. There's like a little cheap plastic lid. I've dropped a the little cup of yogurt and it's hit it, and that lid would crack. That's Now that is damaged. We don't have a supply of lids in the back because sometimes that's where the expiration date is located, which is a silly place to put it because you can change lids out. Oh, look, this is still good. It expired July 5th, or whatever. Just pulled the date out of my freaking. But yeah, oh, it was a good day or a good night, whatever. I hope you're having a pleasant day. I really do. I'm not sure how long it's been. Half hour. Oh boy, 35 minutes going on. It looks like. Yep. I have not received my stimulus yet. Have you received yours? You don't have to answer that. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just happy for you. Um, Yeah, that was my night. My night was pretty good. I'm thinking about shaving this, but I don't want to say I should get off my ass and start typing because I have to be on my ass because typing. I, I do hope all is well with you. I do thank you for watching. I do hope all is well with you. Am I repeating myself? Am I stuck in the matrix? Have a good day or evening, afternoon. Sleep well, stay hydrated.